Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sya Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnanajana Shalakaya Chakshuru Nulitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Manchakopatarubhyasya kripasindubhyevacha patitanam pavenibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha namo mahamananyaya Krishna prema pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya namane gauratavishe namah. So we're hearing from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami with translation and commentary by Srila Prabhupada. And this is Madhya-lila chapter 15, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya offers prashadam. And we're at the point where Mahaprabhu is bidding farewell to all the devotees of Bengal who have spent the 4 months of the Chaturmasya there in Puri, and now they're returning home, and Mahaprabhu is affectionately dealing with each of them. So Vasudeva Datta, he's very merciful, and he asks Mahaprabhu for the benediction that he can accept all the karma of the living entities so that they can be released from their bondage and come to the plane of devotion. So this is a natural nature of this is the nature of a devotee, very, very not interested in his own welfare and very kind to all the conditioned souls. But Mahaprabhu informs Vasudeva Datta it's not necessary for him to personally accept all the karma of the living entities, because by the Lord's desire, just the presence of a pure devotee is enough to liberate an entire universe. So here Mahaprabhu gives the example that he's out to the Lord. It's not liberating an entire universe is not very difficult, he says. I'll start with verse number 176. Tate Bashe Maya Hoya Ananda Brahmanda Gada Kaile Bashe Jena Rai Purnabandha. Maya and her unlimited material universes are situated in that causal ocean. Indeed, Maya appears to be floating like a pot filled with mustard seeds. Tara Ek Rai Nashe Ani Nahi Mani Aiche Ek Andanashe Krishnera Nahi Hani. Of the millions of mustard seeds floating in that pot, if one seed is lost, the loss is not at all significant. Similarly, if one universe is lost, it is not significant to Lord Krishna. So what's being indicated here is a whole different perspective. For Krishna to all the souls of the universe, they all become liberated. This is not like very much of a significant event for him. It's just, there's so many universes, and it's compared to a bucket full of mustard seeds. If one mustard seed falls out of the pot, nobody will notice. There are many things like that happen. You can also see within our own perspective, like you're walking in the path or something, and you accidentally step on an anthill. And so to the ants, this is like the the universe is coming to a crashing end. They're in complete distress, but you don't even notice this. Unless maybe some ants come on your shoe and then you say, oh, I didn't see where I was walking. But to the ants, this is a very significant event. And to you, it's like something that goes unnoticed. So, Sabramanda Sabdyari Mayara Hoi Koi Tatapi Namane Krishna Kichu Apachai. To say nothing of one universal mustard seed. Even if all the universes and the material energy, Maya, are destroyed, Krishna does not even consider the loss. He can immediately recreate it. Koti Kamadenu Patir Chagi Jaiche More Shat Aishwarya Pati Krishna Maya Kiba Kore. Yeah. Maybe we need to turn that outside speaker down a little bit. If a person possessing millions of wish-fulfilling cows loses one she-goat, he does not consider the loss. Krishna owns all six opulences in full. If the entire material energy is destroyed, what does he lose? So, we're not diminishing the importance of goats, and for those lovers of feta cheese, etc. But it says, if a person possessing millions, these are not just cows, millions of wish-fulfilling cows, kamadenus, loses one she-goat, he does not consider it loss. Krishna owns all his opulences in full. If the entire material energy is destroyed, what does he lose? Jaya Jaya Jahi Ajam Ajita Dosha Vrivita Gunam Tvam Ashayad Atmana Samavaruda Samasta Bhagaha Agajagad Akasham Akila Shakti Avabodhakate Kvachit Ajayatmana Cha Charato Nucharani Nigamaha. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, O my Lord, O unconquerable one, O master of all potencies, please exhibit your internal potency to conquer the nescience of all moving and inert living entities. Due to nescience, they accept all kinds of faulty things, thus provoking a fearful situation. O Lord, please show your glories. You can do this very easily, for your internal potency is beyond external potency, and you are the reservoir of all opulence. You are also the demonstrator of the material potency. You are also always engaged in your pastimes in the spiritual world, where you exhibit your reserved internal potency, and sometimes you exhibit the external potency by glancing over it. Thus you manifest your pastimes. The Vedas confirm your potencies and accept both types of pastimes due to them. Mayadhyakshena suyate. So the Lord casts his glance at the material energy, but he doesn't directly involve himself with the material energy. That glance comes personified as Shambhu. And Shambhu has dealings with the material energy. But the point being stated here by Mahaprabhu is what goes on in the material world. If Vasudevadatta wants to liberate an entire universe, he doesn't have to personally accept all the karma. The Lord can arrange this very easily, because the Lord gives so much glorification to his pure devotees like Vasudevadatta. What they desire can be effected without going through so much tribulation. Emata sarva Bhaktera kahi sab guna, sabare vidai dila kori alingan. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described the good qualities of his devotees one after the other. He then embraced them and bade them farewell. Prabhura vichede bhakta korana rodan, bhaktera vichede prabhura vishana hoilaman. Due to the impending separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the devotees began to cry. The Lord was also morose due to separation from the devotees. So Srila Govinda Maharaj described that these meetings when the devotee with Mahaprabhu, when the devotees were going to Bengal, were so difficult for Mahaprabhu that some kind of signal was later established so that they could depart without going through so much emotion. So I heard Govinda Maharaj talk about that. Gadadhar Pandit Rohila Prabhu Pashe Yameshware Prabhu Jare Koraila Avashe. Gadadhar Pandit remained with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was given a place to live at Yameshwar. Puri Gosai Jagadananda Swarup Damodar Pandit Hara Govinda Kashishwar Esab Sange Prabhu Vaishe Nilachale Jagannath Darshan Nitya Kore Pratakale. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at Jagannath Puri Nilachala with Paramananda Puri, Jagadananda Swarup Damodar Pandit, Govinda and Kashishwar. It was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's daily practice to see Lord Chaitanya in the morning. Prabhu Pasha Ashi Sarvabhauma Ekdin Jadahata Korikachu Koila Nevedan. One day Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with folded hands and submitted a request. This chapter is titled Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya offers prashad, and this is just the description is just beginning here that we're in. This is verse number 186 of the chapter, so we've gone through extensive descriptions of before we actually get to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wants to invite. Now that all the devotees have left, he now because Mahaprabhu is very kind to all of them and goes to different devotees' houses to take lunch, and sometimes a combination of various devotees will offer lunch to the Lord so that they all get a chance to offer an invitation to him. Now we're starting with Sarvabhauma's invitation, and this will involve a whole incident, or what we call the Lila, with Mahaprabhu and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Amogha. Yeah, and Sarvabhauma's Bhattacharya's wife, which I think is called Sati Mata. Is it Sati Mata or Sati? Yeah. An unusual name because they refer to her as her name being the mother of Sati. Prabhu Pashadi Sarvabhauma Ekdin Jarahata Korikachu Koila Nivedan. One day Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with folded hands and submitted a request. Ebe Sab Vaishnava Goradeshe Chaligela Ebe Prabhur Nimantrane Avasara Hoila. Since all the Vaishnavas have returned to Bengal, there is a good chance that the Lord would accept an invitation. Ebe Moragare Bikka Koraha Mashbari Prabhu Kohe Dharmanahe Koritena Pari. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, please accept my invitation for lunch for 1 month. The Lord replied, he wanted Mahaprabhu to go there every day for a month. The Lord replied, that is not possible because it is against the religious principles of a sannyasi. Sarvabhauma kohe bhikka koraha Bishdin Prabhu Kohe Ehonahe Jati Dharma China. Sarvabhauma then said, please accept the invitation for 20 days. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, it is not a religious principle of the renounced order. Sarvabhauma Kohe Puna Din Panchadash Prabhu Kohe Tomara Beka Ek Divas. When Sarvabhauma requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to accept lunch for 15 days, the Lord said, I shall accept lunch at your place for 1 day only. Tabe Sarvabhauma Prabhu Charane Doriya Dashdin Bikakora Kohe Vinate Korea. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then caught hold of the Lord's lotus feet and submissively begged, please accept lunch for at least 10 days. Prabhu Krame Pancha Dina Kataila Pancha Din Tarabika Niyama Korila. In this way, by and by, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reduced the duration to 5 days. Thus, for 5 days every month, he regularly accepted the Bhattacharya's invitation to lunch. Tabe Sarvabhauma Kore Arani Medan Tomara Sange Sannyasi Ache Dash Jan. After this, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, my Lord, there are 10 sannyasis with you. A sannyasi should not cook food for himself or accept an invitation to eat at a devotee's house continuously for many days. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very kind and affectionate towards his devotees, yet he would not accept a long invitation at Sarvabhauma's house. Out of affection, he accepted only 5 days in the month. The 10 sannyasis living with the Lord were Paramananda Puri, Swarup Damodar, Brahmanda Puri, Brahmanda Bharati, Vishnu Puri, Kesha Puri, Krishnananda Puri, Nrsinga Tirtha, Shukananda Puri, and Satyananda Bharati. Puri Gosar Bika Pancha Din Moragare Purvyame Korijacham Tomara Gochare. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then submitted that Paramananda Puri Goswami would accept a 5-day invitation in his place. This had already been settled before the Lord. Damodar Swarup A, Bandava Amar, Kabu Tomar, Sangijabe Kabu Ekeshwar. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, Damodar Swarup is my intimate friend. He will come sometime with you and sometimes alone. Hara ashta sanyasira bika dui divase ek din ek jana purna hoila mashe. The other 8 sannyasis will accept invitations for 2 days each. In this way, there will be engagements for each and every day during the entire month. During the entire month, consisting of 30 days, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would visit Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya for 5 days. Paramananda Puri would visit for 5 days, Swarup Damodar for 4 days, and the 8 other sannyasis for 2 days each. In this way, the 30 days of the month would be filled. Bahut sannyasi jadi aishe ek thai samana koretinare aparada pai. If all the sannyasis come together, it would not be possible for me to pay them proper respects. Therefore, I would be an offender. Tomiya nija chaye ashive moragar kabu sange ashivena swarup damodar. Sometimes you will come alone to my place, and sometimes you will be accompanied by Swarup Damodar. This is a very good arrangement, because there's also a saying that too many sannyasis will spoil the yajna, will spoil the sacrifice. So don't want big crowd of sannyasis all coming at one time. I remember one time in Vrindavan, one Brijbasi had invited Prabhupada to come to his place. and take lunch. But he didn't know that Prabhupada was accompanied by many people. So then all of a sudden they descended on the place. There was many persons. But this person was able to adjust to the situation. He just said, okay, all of you please sit here, and he arranged sitting places for everyone. And then what the person did is, although he hadn't made enough prashadam to feed everyone, he ground up so much hot green chili and put it in the food, and then served everybody some of the prashadam. And then when you ate it, there was so much chili in it that tears would come from your eyes and mucus would come from your nose. And then he served everybody something, and then he'd say, oh, here, more. And everyone said, no, I'm fine.
That's so clever. You were there.
Yeah. Prabhupada Gita Pana Nandita Man Sedina Mahaprabhu Koilan Nimantran. Having this arrangement confirmed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Bhattacharya became very glad and immediately invited the Lord to his house on that very day. Satyarmata Nama Bhattacharya Grihini Prabhur Mahabhaktateho Snehete Janani. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's wife was known as Satyarmata, the mother of Sati. She was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and she was affectionate like a mother. But she's called Satyarmata. It's unusual for somebody who's a mother to be called the mother of, if it was in the America or something, they'd call it somebody, an adult had the name, the mother of Carol. It wasn't unusual, but everyone referred to Sarvabhauma's wife as Satyarmata, the mother of Sati. That was her name. So Sarvabhauma's wife was known as Satyarmata, the mother of Sati. She was a great devotee of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and she was affectionate like a mother. Gariyase Bhattacharya Tari Agyadila Anande Satyarmata Bhattacharya. Okay, After returning to his house, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave orders to his wife, Satyarmata, and she began cooking with great pleasure. Bhattacharya Grihe Sab Dravya Achebari Jeba Shaka Faladika Anila Ahari. At Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, there was always a full stock of food. Whatever spinach, vegetables, fruit, and so on were required, he collected and brought back home. Apani Bhattacharya Kore Pakara Sabakarma Satyarmata Vichakshana Jane Pakamarma. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya personally began to help Satyarmata cook. She was very experienced and she knew how to cook nicely. Pak Solara Dakine Dui Bogaloi Eggare Shalagramer Boga Seva Hoy. On the southern side of the kitchen were 2 rooms for offering food, and in one of them the food was offered to Shalagram Narayan, to the Shalagram Shila. Among the followers of the Vedic way, the Shalagram Shila, the Vigraha of Narayan, is worshipped in the form of a stone ball, or in the form of a Shila. In India, every Brahmin still worships the Shalagram Shila in his home. The Vaishyas and Kshatriyas may also engage in this worship, but it is compulsory in the house of a Brahmin. The sannyas, the Vaishyas and Kshatriyas may also engage. Arakara Mahaprabhu Bikara Lagiya Nibrete Koriyache Bhata Nirtana Koriya. The other room was for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lunch. The Lord's lunchroom was very secluded, and it was newly constructed by the Bhattacharya. It was a separate room attached to the kitchen so that everything could be brought out hot for the Lord to take. By ek dwaratara Prabhu praveshite bakashala shalara ara dara ana pariveshite. The room was so constructed that there was only one door opening on the outside, which served as an entrance for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was another door attached to the kitchen, and it was through this door that the food was brought. Bati Shatiya Kalar Angati Pate Tina Mana Tandulera Ubarila Kate Ubarila Bate. First, 3 mounds of cooked rice, almost 6 pounds, were poured onto a big banana leaf. So, this is the beginning of a description of the food prepared for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This description is given by Kaviraj Goswami, who it is assumed was an expert cook who knew both how to prepare and how to serve food. So, I've always considered it's very important for, especially in a temple, for the food to be hot and to be nicely prepared. And personally, when food is not nicely prepared or hot, I become angry, which is not a good quality. But that's, and the prashadam room was right next to the kitchen, so everything should be brought out hot. And somebody can say, well, but prashadam is offered, and then it doesn't come out of the kitchen sometimes for 40 minutes or something like that. Yeah, but bring it out of the kitchen hot. Make some arrangement, you know. Keep the fire going on low, but Pita Sugandhi Grite Ana Shikka Koila Charidiki Pate Grita Bahia Chalila. Then the whole stack of rice was mixed with so much yellowish and fragrant clarified butter that it began to overflow the leaf. And so much. The rice was mixed with ghee, clarified butter, and it's rolling off the banana leaf because there's so much ghee on it. What was that? The thing you put on the noodles yesterday, what was it? What's that called?
Like pesto?
Huh?
It was pesto. Kind of. Or the broccoli.
Yeah. What's it called though? I know the name, I just...
Pesto.
Pesto.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it was very good. That was very nice.
Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it.
Kayara Patra Kola Hola Donga Shari Shari Chari Diktoriache Nana Vyanjana Bari. Pesto, I think, is made from, it's from the same family as Tulsi.
The basil?
Basil.
Huh?
Basil or basil.
Basil, yeah, basil. Basil's from the same family as Tulsi. There goes Krishna Priya with the Tulsi plant. And basil's from the same family as Tulsi. Keyapatra Kola Hola Donga Shari Shari Charidike Doriache Nana Vyanjana Kori. There were a number of pots made of the bark of banana trees and the leaves of the kaya plants. The pots were filled with various cooked vegetables and placed on all sides of the leaf. So when I've been going to India for many, many years, and we always remember when we first got to India, they would, to serve prashadam, they would bring stacks of leaf plates. And the leaf plates were made of leaves that were all stitched together with a little piece of stick, a little tiny piece of like wood, and they would stitch all the leaves together to form a perfectly round leaf plate. And for just a few cents, I think, you would buy a big stack of leaf plates, and then the leaf plates would be washed, and then with water to get off any dust, and then they'd serve the devotees on the leaf plates. And then afterwards, the leaf plates, after the devotees ate, the leaf plates were thrown in like a cement pit, which became the prashadam for the dogs. Stray dogs would come there and they'd take that. They'd eat off the leaf plates. So there were a number of pots made of the bark of banana trees and the leaves of the kaya plant. These pots were filled with various cooked vegetables and placed on all sides of the leaf. Dasha prakara shaka nimba tikta sukta jala marichara jala chana bara bari kola. Nowadays, they don't all use those leaf plates, but instead they have plastic plates that are printed to look like leaf plates. There were about 10 kinds of spinach, a soup called shukta, which was made with bitter neem leaves, a pungent preparation made from black pepper, a mild cake made of fried curd, and buttermilk mixed with small fried pieces of dal. So the small pieces of dal is called bori, and that dal is smashed and then in small pieces and put on the roof of houses to dry, to cook in the sun, or dry and cook in the sun. Then they're put in things. So shukta, in this case, this is neem shukta, but shukta in general means something bitter, and it can be neem shukta or it can be fancy shukta, which is made with bitter melon and eggplant and green banana and green papaya and cooked in a sauce. That's another kind of shukta. But shukta can be any kind of bitter, basically. And the shukta that's made, that has liquid especially, they put pieces of bori in there, which... These are Bengali preparations. They don't make these in every part of India. They make these in Bengal. Things like shukta, they always have a bitter in Bengal, not everywhere else. And then other things in Bengal that are particular are like aloo posta. Aloo posta means potatoes made with sauce from poppy seeds. And posta, Govinda Maharaj would eat posta, which is little cakes fried made from smashed poppy seeds, and then other kinds of cakes made from green plantain that are also fried, and what are some other ones, green plantain, posta, and
there's also the banana flour preparations.
Yeah, like banana flour sabji, which is called
Mocha Ganta, right?
Yeah. what is it?
Mochaganta.
Mochaganta. And then there's one that's made from usually the inside of the stalks of the banana one, and then there's one made from banana flowers also. So
yeah, they make so many preparations.
And
all parts of the banana.
all these, and they make these especially in Bengal, not everywhere else. They're not so. So sometimes when we're singing, Bhaja Bhakata. That's everything that's made by Mother Yashoda offered to Krishna. And here's what's interesting to me is that a lot of the preparations like kheer and so many other things, they're all Bengali preparations, but they're being offered to Krishna. So apparently Mother Yashoda must have had a Bengali in her household or something. But no, what really the idea is, by this song, Bhaktivedanta Thakur is telling you that Mahaprabhu is not different from Krishna. And these things are all being offered to Krishna, but they're not, actually they would be more typical of an offering to Mahaprabhu. But it's Bhaktivedanta Thakur, I believe, making a philosophical point that Mahaprabhu is no different from Krishna, because so many preparations are being offered to Krishna, but they're all Bengali preparations. That's in Bhaja Bhakata, and so many things are different in UP where Vrindavan is. Like in Bengal, it's very common that you'll get. What do you call the sweets? The normal. Well, there's so many Bengali sweets. That's the specialty of Bengal, is Bengali sweets. And so then sandesh is something unique to Bengal. Sandesh, and then there's so many sweets that. Kheer Kadam, and then Guru Maharaj's sister made some special sweets made from coconut, and what was it? Gopa. What was the name of that? Gopa. I forget the name, but
Pita Pana also. That's another special one.
Yes. Well, Pita Pana is more Orison.
Oh.
Pita Pana is more Orison. Pita Pana means drink, like a fruit drink, and some cakes that they make. And that's served typically in Orissa. But I'm not really so much familiar with that because I didn't spend a lot of time in Orissa. And then other thing in Bengal, they have what's called aloo posta, is with the poppy seed sauce, and then there's luchi and aloo, like puris with potatoes and kind of a gravy, like.
What's that sweet with camphor? I think that's it. You know that coconut ball they make with camphor? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, that's something I thought that maybe the one made by Guru Maharaj's sister is Gokul Pita.
Gokul Pita.
Yeah, that has coconut.
Okay.
Dugda Tumbi, Dugda Kushmanda, Veshara Lafra, Mochaganta, Mochabhaja, Vivida, Chakra. There were preparations of Dugda Tumbi, Dugda Kushmanda, Veshara Lafra, Mochaganta, Mochabhaja, and other vegetables. Some of these preparations you can learn how to cook. It's nice if the devotees can learn at least one or two recipes. And one book that has recipes that does it nicely sometimes too much nicely because there's thousands of recipes, is Jamuna's cookbook. Jamuna was a cook for Prabhupada, and she wrote a big, thick cookbook. Some of the names that she gives are very funny. There were preparations of Dugda Tumbi, Dugda Kushmanda, Vesara, Lafra, Mocha Ganda, Mocha Bhajan, and other vegetables. So Dugda Tumbi is squash mixed with milk. So Dugda Kushmanda, pumpkin mixed with milk. So, Vesara, a preparation made from chickpea flour. Lafra, a combination of several vegetables, not so much fried, it's a cooked vegetable. Mochaganda, boiled banana flowers. I'm not sure of that. Mocha bhaja, fried banana flowers. Various vegetables. And mocha. They also use the inside of the banana stalk. Cook with that. That's what I thought was mochaganta, but I'm not sure. Vrita Kushmanda, Badir Vyanjana Par, Fula Bari, Fula Mula, Vividin Prakar. There were unlimited quantities of Vrita Kushmanda Bari, Fula Bari, fruits and various roots. So I'm going to stop here. It's getting a little late, and then tomorrow we'll continue.
Sorry, can you explain more what you were saying earlier? When the devotees from Bengal were leaving Puri, they created some type of signal?
Yeah, Govinda Maharaj said that it was too painful for Mahaprabhu, so that they put up some kind of a pot, like a clay pot. And when they were all time for them to leave, the clay pot was broken or something like that, and that was a signal that they were leaving. And Mahaprabhu didn't have to go through this strong emotion because he'd become depressed for many days after the devotees were leaving. So I think Swarup Damodar, one of the other devotees, instituted this signal that everybody was going and they didn't have to go through the...
And then would they still go to say goodbye to him?
Yeah.
Okay, but he'd have like a warning.
Well, no, it was shortened, I think.
Okay.
Didn't have to go through. I don't know. That Govinda Maharaj explained it, and you have to ask him.
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
Well, many things we never heard. Okay, so now I'm going to sing Hari Haraya. These are the kartos I always use. One of them says Vidura Krishna. The other Vidura Krishna. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Sarvabhauma Sarvabhauma Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah to say something about this upcoming visit of Nirya Maharaj to Mexico and us going to Mexico. First of all, I would say if people can go to Mexico, they should do that, because Mexico is very unique. It's more like India than any other country in Latin America. If you went through the whole globe from India and went straight through the globe, you'd be in Mexico. And Mexico, like India, has like the same 3 months of the rainy season that is also in India. And I would say that Mexico is more like India or an Asian country than it is like a Spanish colonized country. The people, if you see the people, many of the people look like they're Hindus. And we'll go first. I think the trip will start out with Nirya Maharaj. He comes from Delhi. He's going from Bengal to Delhi, and then he'll come to Mexico City, and then he'll go first to Morelia. So anyone who wants to join with us first in Mount Morelia for a few days will be in Pátzcuaro, I believe, because Madhavi and her husband, Purushottama, they donated some land in Pátzcuaro, which is an area by the lake, and that they're building an ashram there. So we'll be first for a few days in Morelia, and then we'll drive to Guadalajara. And Guadalajara, very, very nice place. All year round you'll get squash flowers to make squash flower quesadillas, which are very good, and so many nice foods are available and cooked by the devotees also in Mexico. So then Nirya Maharaj will go first to Morelia, then he'll go to Guadalajara, then we'll fly to Veracruz and also visit Orizaba. So Veracruz is where Govinda Maharaj most visited. It's on the ocean. It's not so much a resort, it's more a port. But it's very nice. They have a very beautiful aquarium there. You can see, like you have an aquarium here, the Monterey Aquarium is very nice, but the aquarium in Veracruz is different kinds of sea life because it's more tropical down there. And and Veracruz is very nice. Guadalajara, Morelia is one culture, and Veracruz is another culture. And then from there we'll go to Orizaba and then visit there. That Gaur Narayan, his family's from Orizaba, and they want Nirya Maharaj to visit there a few hours or one day to see their deities. Then we'll go to Tikal. And Tikal, Mexico City is like the center of the Aztec civilization. It's very nice, and there's some things about the Aztec civilization which are very, very unique. Like they say that, that Maharaj Parikshit, the whole story of the Srimad Bhagavatam, he was cursed to be bitten by a snake bird. And that snake bird is from the Aztec civilization and is represented on the Mexican flag. An eagle with a snake in his mouth. It's some kind of allegorical representation of the snake bird. But the real snake bird is part of the Aztec civilization. It's called Quetzalcoatl. And they have pyramids near Mexico City and, to the sun and the moon, I guess it is. Then when you go down to Yucatan, and then we'll visit where Ashram Maharaj has a temple and everything established there in Tikal. And Yucatan is distinct because Yucatan is the center of the Mayan civilization. You have the Aztec civilization, Mexico City, the Mayan civilization near Yucatan. We fly into Merida and then we drive to Tiku. Very, very tropical there. Should be pretty hot. Be very nice also. So anyway, anybody who gets a chance, they can go because, and just let us know ahead of time. But, Neria Mars is going to Mexico, so it's a chance to meet Neria Mars. And we've, myself and the Ashram Maharaj and Madha Maharaj and the devotees of Mexico, we've, tried to establish Neria Maharaj so that people could take refuge of him and see him as a successor of Acharya Maharaj, especially in India. Because you have Acharyas in other countries of the world, but India is the most important country in the world. We're always going to India, so you need somebody who sits there as the Acharya. So Neria Maharaj should at least be seen as that Acharya, as the successor of Acharya Maharaj. And he's very young, in his late 30s, very nice. And anybody who gets a chance to go will get a chance to meet him. You don't have to go all the way to India to meet him. Although going to India is not nice also. But we're just saying this. Okay? Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Tilak Nehru Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmalacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shiman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravajakacharya Ashtatara Sadashi Shiman Srila Bhakti Rakshira Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan, Jai Bhagavan, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivedanta Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad, Vaishnava Sarvabhauma, Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Se Go Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Vishvavarena Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhu Jai. Sri Vishaka Devi Ki Jai. Gaur Brahmanandi Hari.
Om Vishnu Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Pavan Maharaj Ki Jai.